So Jesus turns to the people, to the Jews, and says, you do know where I am from. I mean, how else could they not know this? They had seen him heal the blind and the lame, and so bring Lazarus back from the dead, and yet they still would not believe in their hearts that Jesus was the Christ, the Son of God, and that he came from heaven. I was watching a documentary this week on Curiosity Stream. And the name of the documentary was Where Do Humans Come From? And of course it started where we are now and worked its way back through all the humans, and of course their idea of natural selection, and where humans come from apes, and apes came from little animals, and little animals came from fish that crawled up on the land, and the fish came from microbes, et cetera, et cetera. But he carried this back all the way to the beginning, to the Big Bang theory, the Big Bang. And the Big Bang, of course, is there is nothing, and then all of a sudden there's a spark, an explosion, a gigantic explosion that created all of these 100 billion galaxies and stars. And this guy that was doing this documentary, when he got to that point, he couldn't find it in his heart to say that God had anything to do with it. Well, what he wanted to do was somehow explain that before the Big Bang there was something else, energy or something, that created that spark that created the Big Bang, instead of God starting it and doing it. Because if he admitted that, it would upset his apple cart. It would change everything he believed. Just as the Jews back 2,000 years ago, if they would have come to believe that Jesus was the Messiah, it would have changed their entire belief system. It would upset their apple carts. And they were not going to do that, no more than this guy in the show were going to do it. We're in some very troubling times now. We all know this. This virus is one of the most horrible things that I can remember. And it's a time that we need to pray. We need to pray as hard as we've ever prayed before. We need to pray for our church, for our Holy Father, for all of our bishops, for all of our priests, especially Father Andrew, Father Abraham, Father Joel. We need to pray for all of our lay people, all Catholics and Christians. But we need to pray for all those that are not, for those who don't believe, like the Jews did 2,000 years ago. We need to pray for them, because they're also are the ones that are going to die. They're also the ones that are going to get this infection and this disease. We want to make sure that before they do, hopefully they will come to know our Lord. And so if they do, or if they are called home, they will be called home to heaven, because they have come to know him. Amen.